Heroes in the competitive lifespan of Overwatch have seen conflicting widespread use throughout the years, leading to brand new metas that completely change the way players approach matchups, and Ana being one of the most extreme examples. Hey buddies, Mr. Pugly here, coming at you with a Overwatch competitive history analysis of Ana Amara. On July 19th, 2016, Ana was the first ever Overwatch character added to the game's base roster since the release of the game. As in tradition for competitive games, this newly added character was often seen in the community as broken even before formally being released when played tested in the PTR. When Ana was released, she took the scene by storm with her kit consisting of high burst damage and high burst healing from her sniper, as well as new mechanics such as 2x healing boost from her grenades and a frustrating anti-heal debuff from the grenades that is still seen to this day as one of the most powerful tools in the game's history. The damage and healing that she would provide was 80 and 75 respectively for each hit, with whether you hit a foe or an ally, with a fast enough fire rate to where it would often allow you to out single target heal every other support character in the game at the time, as well as allow you to dish out tons of damage. The damage was especially deadly for the occasional fair counter, seeing as Ana was capable of aiming down the sights, allowing for an easy way to snipe harder to hit foes. Just 2 shots was all it took to kill a standard DPS or support character with a standard 200 HP pool or less, which means if you had the skill to hit those 2 shots as well as a well-timed grenades, which most competitive players were able to do, you could easily send any DPS hurtling to the ground as well as any pre-mentioned low HP pool heroes. She also came with a powerful CC in the form of a sleep dart, which was often used to interrupt a dive, lower the amount of heroes to face in a team fight, or interrupt ultimates, which can completely demolish a well thought out strategy from the enemy team. Also came with an ultimate by the name of Nana Boost that was so good players uproared enough to make Blizzard majorly nerf the ability only 4 months after the character was released. Back in the day, Nana Boost allowed you to apply a powerful buff to an ally, and at the time boosted their damage by 50% and gave a 70% damage reduction, and most importantly a speed boost of 30%, which allowed for a meta infinitely named the Bayblade Meta to thrive. Before any major tournaments, Ana was buffed to allow her primary fire to fire faster, as well as increase her magazine size from 8 to 10. She also got an increased radius on her grenades, as well as a required recovery time for players that were CC'd due to sleep dart of 0.5 seconds. Before this, the recovery time was instant, so if someone were to damage you while you were sleeping, you would immediately get up, which is no longer the case as most people are familiar at the moment, as well as a small nerf to 20% increase ultimate charge on her Nana Boost. Despite Ana already being a well-received character and widely used, she got these buffs just to allow her to feel stronger overall. This can be seen in a developer comment as well, where it's stated that she was showing to feel a little bit weaker overall, which is why she got all these buffs before any major tournaments happened. These changes also increased her healing and damage output respectively. Now, the Beyblade strategy, Nana Boosted Death Blossom, was discovered and became immensely popular during the event Overwatch Open on September 25th of 2016. Back in November 4th of 2016 in the Overwatch World Cup, Ana was chosen 95% of all matchups, which is crazy to even think about. In the same tournament, there was an interview which allowed us to hear the opinions on how the overwhelming majority Ana matchup was received. Kitten says she was just broken right now. Ana does 100 HP of healing on allies hit with the grenade, plus 100% more health from all healing sources for a few seconds. How many times do we see a Reinhardt at 10 HP go back to full health with a biotic grenade plus 2 or 3 shots, kitty ass? The main reason why the Nana Boosted Death Blossom with the combo with Reaper was seen as such a powerful strategy, aka the Beyblade strategy, was because Nana Boost gave this immensely powerful movement speed, which allowed you to basically go in as Reaper, cast your ultimate, and just be going really fast, even when you're in your slowed state of your Death Blossom, which, as many players know, kills lots of enemies in a big AoE around Reaper. Because of this extra movement speed, it was very easy to chase players that were trying to run away, as well as a implemented Lucio to make your speed of your Death Blossom even faster. it was often comboed with Reaper, Ana, and Lucio to wipe an entire team very easily with just 2 ultimates. Besides Reaper, there was plays of nano boosted Reinhardts where you would boost a Reinhardt and then a Reinhardt would go in with the increased speed and just swing with the hammer all around. Because of the fact that nano boost also increases the damage dealt, the Death Blossom as well as hammer swings from Reinhardt just allowed you to kill targets very easily. In Reinhardt's case, it only required 2 swings to kill the majority of the player's DPS on their team, which is a big hit into their entire team composition when fighting a team fight, as well as any supports, since most supports in the game didn't have a good survivability tool or a tool to escape. We also saw some niche plays that are still seen into today with nano boosting a Genji, where you would essentially nano boost a Genji and then he would use his ultimate, which is often called the Nano Blade, where he would just need to dash into a player and then swing once and then it instantly kills them. This is still seen in play today, but most of the time this wasn't the option that most competitive players did, because why use that ultimate when you can just use Death Blossom and kill the entire team with a greater sense of ease. 11 to 10 days after the Overwatch World Cup of 2016 ended, we did get a major nerf to Nano Boost where it no longer increased movement speed, which was patched in November 15 of 2016. This meant that the Bayblade meta was quickly shafted, no longer being a meta choice in the competitive scene, but it doesn't mean Ana was out, because Ana was still used in the competitive scene very often due to her strong capabilities of healing, as well as providing an anti-heal tool, as well as everything else that we talked about before. Pretty wild that it only took 4 months to completely get rid of a new meta. Granted, Overwatch was quickly updated all the time back in the day, so it isn't as absurd as you might think. We briefly touched upon Ana's anti-dive capability, but here's a great example on how versatile and how powerful the burst damage that Ana can actually provide. Very easy to deal lots and lots of damage and kill a 20 HP target without any problems at all, or even support at all. Granted, most of these kills are going to be, of course, with no one else around. If the enemy was getting healing, it's possible he would survive. A lot of the time, these anti-dive kills are going to be against enemies such as Genji and Sombra and other dive characters that usually have low HP pools, such as Cassidy here. McCree here has 225 HP, but it's very easy to even clear a target that has more than 200 HP, such as McCree. All you need to do is do one shot, go into a sleep dart, shoot twice, and then immediately melee, and then the enemy is dead. Now, if it is a target that does just have 200 HP, the process is very similar, but it should go a lot quicker. So you do that, you shoot twice, and you don't even need a melee, and the enemy's dead. So it's very easy to clear enemies once you have a dart on them. As well, if you want to waste your grenade, which most competitive players want to use their grenades for team fights, you could potentially use it on a sleep dart target like this and instantly kill them in just a few seconds. And even if you get the sleep dart on the enemy first, you should be able to clear the target very quickly as well, such as that, as long as they don't start jumping, or as long as you're quick enough to actually start getting both bullets on the actual target. You're going to primarily get this every single time on a target. Now, once we hit 2017, you're going to notice that Ana wasn't used as much as it was in the past. Now, Ana was unfortunately a very slow character at the time, albeit you can kill some targets, but you don't have any survivability tools to escape a target if you have a whole team jump on you. And in 2017, a big meta at the time was the dive meta. Now, the dive meta usually centered around using primarily dive characters and characters that would support the dive aspect of allowing you to kill the targets as soon as possible, as soon as you jumped into the team fight. Because of this, we saw heroes such as Diva Tracer, Zenyatta, Winston, and Lucio at the top 6 heroes used in this particular format. In Overwatch League 2017, which is the first season ever of Overwatch League, we unfortunately only saw a total of 5.8% of players actually pick Ana for the matchups, and Ana only saw throughout the entire season of the Overwatch League in 2017 only 1 hour and 16 minutes of playtime total, which is a bit of a shame because how long this tournament went on for. Because of this, Ana doesn't see a lot of competitive uses in 2017, but once we hit 2018, we start seeing Ana used more often due to the fact that we now have a paradigm switch over to the 3 support, 3 tank meta. In 2018, we did see a new capability of the Nano Boost, which now instantly heals a target for 300 HP and increased the range of the Nano Boost, which was awesome. At the current moment in stage of the game, or February 26 in 2019, there's a new patch that changed the healing from 300 to 250. This particular perk with the Nano Boost allowed you to play a little bit more recklessly or even use the Nano Boost as a defensive option, which the team fight usually from a uphill battle to a downhill battle, which was awesome. Say your Reinhardt was close to being dead, you just nano boosted them, and now you have a tankier tank that is mostly fully healed that is going to be able to deal lots of damage to targets around him with his big hammer. Once we do hit 2019, we actually do see a resurgence in the use of Ana in the Overwatch League, where now she's used 29.1% of matchups, which is a lot more than the 5.8% of 2018 as well as 2017. The reason for this is because the meta did change over to a 3 support, 3 tank meta. If you guys aren't familiar, that's when the role choice or the requirement of having 2 tanks, 2 DPS, and 2 supports were implemented into the game, and this meta kind of made Blizzard want to switch over to that format. But pretty much you were able to choose any amount of support, any amount of tanks, and any amount of DPS at this time in the game's life cycle and in the past. So we got this meta where we had 3 tanks and 3 supports, and usually the focus around that is that the tanks were getting healed so much that they could kind of DPS or do their own tank stuff and still dominate the team fight against a normal comp for the most part. So in 2019, we saw a lot of Lucio, Diva, Brigitte, Zenyatta, Zarya, Reinhardt, Orisa, and Ana as primary choices. And it's very rare we do see Ana use more than Mercy, but in 2019 in the Overwatch League, we did actually see Ana have 12% higher pick chance than Mercy during this time period, which is pretty wild because Mercy is a pretty staple support in a lot of team compositions, just because of how easy it is to work around her, as well as having the nice benefit of her res, but that's neither here or there. That's a totally different topic for another video. Mid 2019, we did finally get the role selection in Overwatch, which means we have a new meta that requires you to, of course, run 2 DPS, 2 tanks, and 2 supports. And despite this, in season 2020, Ana was still used as a primary choice, as well as having an even higher pick rate than she had in the past, with now a 32.8% pick rate overall compared to all the other characters. Around this time in season 2020, she was primarily used because we had a shield meta where we primarily like to stack a tons and tons of shields. Despite this, Reinhardt wasn't used as much as Sigma, Orisa, and Winston or top tank picks, but Reinhardt was the 4th most used tank in this particular season. Because of this, Ana really thrived on this environment, allowing you to use her as a nice tool to, of course, pop shots into the team to kill targets that potentially are dangerous for upcoming team fights, or just easily heal your targets very easily because she has a huge amount of burst heal in her kit. Another key thing that Ana contributed to the season 2020 in particular of the double shield meta is the ability to anti-heal. Of course, this was a thing forever, but anti-heal was especially valuable in this double shield meta because once you finally broke all the shields, normally the healers would heal so hard that you couldn't kill the tanks as quickly, and if you don't kill the tanks quick enough, you're going to get a new set of shields that unfortunately you have to bulldoze through before you can actually hit the enemy team again. So the anti-heal allowed you to, one, make sure that tanks don't heal, which means that they die quicker before their shields get reapplied, which means you can actually kill the entire team composition of the enemy team before they can recover. In 2021 and even present day, Ana is still considered one of the best supports in the entire game. Leap Dart and Nade really allows you to disrupt team fights in a particular way that allows your enemies to not really recover at all. A lot of the time, this kit alone allows you to single-handedly win fights, and happens so often in these games where you basically apply these to the enemy team and they can't really do nothing about it because you're able to dish out so much damage in the current meta of Overwatch. At the current moment, her kit is just so impactful with so much consistency that it's hard pressed to never use Ana in a lot of team comps at the current moment. There isn't enough counterplay in the current game that allows you to counter nade and sleep darts to the point where you can kind of just carry your team if you are a well-playing Ana, which currently at the current moment, these players that are such a high skill level that they're able to optimize this kit so well. But for people like you and me, we probably don't see that as often as pro level players do. A lot of games in the current Overwatch leagues are currently being decided by a handful of good anti-nades, and if we get a good anti-nade in the team fight, pretty much whoever got the better anti-nade in a team fight, it's usually them that wins, which is a bit unfortunate that one ability kind of decides the winning factor of a team fight, but that's how normally competitive games kind of go for the most part, at least in current metas. You know, some could be said that it's not always like that in certain games, but a lot of the times if you get a good CC or a good effect on the enemy team, you are at such a higher advantage compared to your enemy that you're usually able to win in a lot of games that are team-based, such as Overwatch. Even at the current moment of Overwatch 2, the removal of a lot of shield-based abilities really allows Ana to kind of just be really super aggressive and allow you to get these anti-nades into the fight, allowing you to win very easily, such as the current meta in Overwatch 1. Of course, it's worse in Overwatch 2 than it is in Overwatch 1, but possibly they'll fix it in the future since Overwatch 2 isn't quite out. But I'm really excited to see how they eventually advance the game state and potentially make the game have a healthier balance than Overwatch 1 currently. But as always, a big shout out to the members who make these videos possible. We got Clairvoyance, Rick Iglesias, Grey Wolf, Cameron, Wishkeeper, and Call Doctor. These are the people who support me as little as $5 a month, and you can also support me as little as $5 a month by clicking the link in the comments or description or in the top right to become a member on YouTube or Patreon. The more members we have, the closer I get to becoming full-time, which means more videos for you guys. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.
And the last shall be first to immerse in a pass out heat, facing him up with a moxie melt till he woke up drowning in tchotchke hell. War in a cave with a torch on a wall, then a window arrangement of porcelain dolls.